One. Welcome everybody to this week's edition of Monday Night Mayhem. My name is JT. My camera is off tonight. Zach is the only one on camera, so we're just gonna have like a little bubble with his face. And tonight we do have our Mayhem game back in action, the Mayhem game of the evening, because it's going to be a fun week of video games this week. So Pokemon Champions is the Mayhem game to celebrate, not celebrate Pokemon World's happening. So yeah, stay tuned for all of that. Tonight we're going to be talking about the GTA 6 leak situation, because that is getting out of control. There's a lot happening there. I got to play the Dustbloods last weekend, and we also are going to talk a little bit about PlayStation losing a little bit of morale right now. Doesn't seem like a lot of people are too happy with PlayStation, considering all the boycotts that allegedly are going on, and much more. Strap into those ergonomic gaming chairs. Get ready to dive in for this week's edition of Monday Night Mayhem, where pixels meet possibilities. Game on, everybody. Fellas, it was a crazy weekend of video games. I like these stories more than the other doom and gloom stories that we continue to get of, industry layoffs and all that rigmarole. But it's never a fun time when we are about to witness a giant legal battle that is potentially on the horizon between Rockstar and whoever CyberLeaks is. There's a lot of craziness going on in that world where this person is leaking things left and right. Every so often they go to, I guess, their website and throw up clips of gameplay for people to indulge in, and they're charging people money for it. So that's cool, I guess. I'm very confused about this situation. I've seen a lot of people on the internet talk about what's happening here. It just confuses me every little bit that I hear about it. I thought I had seen one of the leaks. Turns out it was just an AI fake video, so I was like, well, it got me. It fucking got me. You guys have more information about this than I do. Carson, can you break this situation down in real time for us?
I sure can, JT. So what's going on with the GTA 6 leak is that a group, not one individual, called CyberLeak, has created a crypto, also called CyberLeak. And what's happened is that they're posting from a 2025 PC build of Grand Theft Auto 6 different clips where they're playing as the character Jason. What's key is that everything they've shown has only had Jason. And interestingly, yes, Cleo, my cat, she's screaming because I'm doing this voice. As you can tell, JT, they haven't shown off too much story-related stuff. And one of the big selling points of this game is the fact that there's a second character who is in fact a leading lady, and they have not at any given time shown her off, clearly indicating that they do not have a build that includes her, which is very interesting. They have shown off a little bit of a cutscene here and there, and there was the clip where they took an AK-47 and shot L-E-E-K into the side of a wall, clearly indicating that this is not just leaked videos from within Rockstar itself, but in fact, video footage of them playing the game itself. So, back to you, JT.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Didn't know what to do with that at all.
Cleo me out. I lost it. That was honestly the perfect moment for a cat's meow. Yeah, so basically what I'm understanding is, it is really raining outside. The CyberLeak person is a vigilante? Is that what you're getting at?
It's a group. It's a group that allegedly ratted which if you don't know is remote access tunneling. Essentially gaining access to someone's computer without their knowledge from a Rockstar employee. The leaks allegedly did come from a hacking of a remote Rockstar employee, allegedly. Not in America. I'm not sure on the country, so I don't want to just guess on it. Apparently, this employee has been hit several times. What they have leaked, though, is different videos that have shown the map, shown off tasers, different cars, different locations, things like that. One of the things that was alleged the other night is that they had some kind of remote kill software where if they were to be arrested, then the game would automatically leak. Because every day there's some code that they would have to put in to prevent that from happening. Allegedly. That has apparently been declared false as of today. So the amount of misinformation that's going around is making the story extremely confusing. What I can say for sure is that Rockstar has subpoenaed Discord for different logs, and apparently Microsoft for some sort of information, I believe with like the remote access tunneling software that they use, among other things. It's kind of a race at this point because the build that they have is allegedly a PC build from last year, but like I was saying in my stupid voice, it doesn't appear to be the totality of the game to that point. It is only one of the characters that they've shown off, which if you had the other, like we talked about last week, the arguably more interesting one, because she is the first woman that they are having as a lead in one of these 3D titles. I don't know why you wouldn't be showing stuff off with her, or at the very least showing off the character switching. Like, is it the same as what it was in the last game, or is it different, or are you just locked out at times? That could be a possibility. We don't know. It's interesting that they're leaving a lot of things like that unanswered and instead just showing off these random little bits here and there. It kind of feels like it's hitting a point where they're almost showing their entire hand and there's not going to be much left but to leak it. And at that point, yeah, that's going to be a lot of damage and heads are going to roll to figuratively. But we're, less than 48 hours out from the big reveal on Netflix, which will be everywhere.
When's that big reveal? Thursday? It's Thursday, so we still got a couple of days.
So, I mean, yeah, but it would be bad even after that if it leaks, no matter what. But I think this is about to prove how old their build is. And at that point, yes, the leaks will still be a problem and a big thing, but I think they're going to get a whole lot less attention. And I think that crypto's probably going to rug around the time that trailer goes live. That's my prediction. Because that's what this whole thing's really about. They're saying all this bullshit about, like, it being about gamers and, like, holding companies accountable. And if we can get Rockstar, imagine who else we can get. Like, yeah, but if you've seen even a screenshot from one of these leaks, you'll know that their crypto is posted all over it. And I haven't looked at it today, but when I last checked, it was running up to $9 million worth. So, like, come on.
Yeah.
That's sketchy as hell.
Yeah, very much so.
Like, they're allegedly, it's some bullshit to, like, show how much people want to have interest or something. I don't know. They don't make you pay to see the videos and are, like, okay with people reposting them. So it's not like you have to pay to see them. Like, all the ones that I've seen were posted on Twitter, and I just read news articles that link to that because I don't fucking get on Twitter. I guess it was probably Kotaku or something that I was reading that had a link to one of the videos on Twitter. And while I was watching it, it was only like a 2-minute video, and I was like a minute in,
and it got removed, and it like cut me off from watching the rest of it. It was crazy. It happened in real time.
Jeez.
Yeah, they were aggressive.
Right. I've never had a video like that be removed in real time as I was.
I hadn't
it.
either. It was crazy. Like, I thought something screwed up in my browser, but then whenever I like exited the full screen, it straight up had the copyright owner revoked this video or whatever. Like, the article had only been up for like 15 minutes or something. So like, they move fast, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how are we feeling about this? Do we think that Rockstar is going to actually find the guy?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think something to this scale. I mean, they got the last one.
Yeah, wasn't that just like a kid in a hotel room though?
Something like that. Allegedly, whoever it was, they did catch him. This one I think was a little more sophisticated, I guess. I'm not going to pretend that I fully understand remote access tunneling, to be honest with you. I like get what it is as a concept, and I can understand how it happens and why it's so scary. Like, it's a backdoor to your computer. They can be on it doing whatever, and you'll have no clue whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, it's shit that happens to old people all the time that just don't know any better and don't have ad blockers.
Yeah, I definitely have seen my fair share of that in the previous job that I was in. But yeah, that is, oh man, scary situation for what's going down over at Rockstar. I'm just curious where the fallout ends up coming this Thursday, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a big fucking headline. Depending on what happens when they put out their Netflix special. Let's move on from Grand Theft Auto. Carson, unless you got any closing remarks about this.
Not really. It's not good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that's about, it's not good.
I guess
not
my
good for anybody.
Last question: are you guys gonna peep the Netflix special?
I want to see it on Netflix because I don't know Netflix, so I gotta wait regardless. Like everybody else probably will. If I did though, I probably would catch it anyways, just because it's like, why not? Like, it's there. The whole internet's gonna blow up, and I'm just as curious as everybody else. But I'm gonna be waiting 6 hours, so it'll get leaked on X. I know it will.
Yeah, it'll probably get leaked on X within minutes of it finishing up on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
that's
totally.
my anticipation. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it just because we have a show where we talk about video games, even though I don't really want to watch it because I'm not gonna be able to fucking play it. So I won't say I don't care, because obviously I do care. We fucking talk about it every week. But at the same time, I know how I am with these things, and at times I just want to say as far a fuck away as possible and not indulge. I'll indulge. We'll come back next Monday and talk about our thoughts about the whole thing. Let's talk a little bit about the Dustbloods, because your boy here got to play it this weekend, and it is the most interesting fucking video game I think that I've played all year long. To the point of I was having a ton of fun, but it was one of those things where it's like, I'm having fun, I don't really know what I'm doing though. So the way this game works, to break it down, is you play, it's PvPvE. So what you're doing is you're kind of like doing Kirby Air Riders type shit on this giant map where you're building up your stats. You're getting these points called Virtue. Virtue is basically how you level up. You're strengthening bonds with other characters, and these summons that are called Kens. So when you strengthen those, they're going to help you out in the final fight. And the final fight is a battle royale between you and everybody else on the map. It was fun. I like, even though I was very confused a lot of the times where I was doing, just running around and trying to like collect shit and trying to not get cold by the dust. Because when you get cold by the dust in round 3, that's pretty much like you're not making it to the final round. You're like, stats are too weak for this. So better luck next time. The enemy types, it has a lot of different enemy types. They threw a lot of enemy types at us in this fucking demo. So my understanding of, I feel like this game is pretty much done and they just wanted to get this out just to see fan reception of it. But what we got out of this demo was, man, some of the enemies look like fucking KKK members, so that was a good time beating those guys up. You got to fight this crazy boss with death wheels as hands. That was a time I did not end up beating that boss at all. That was probably the hardest shit that I like ran into. There's a titty frog in the game that you got to fight. We beat up the titty frog a lot. That was probably the easiest fight of the fucking game. What else? I feel like I'm missing other enemy types. There's like this giant like beast wolf that was whooping my ass a lot. The character designs for like the characters that you play as are some of the most uniquely designed characters I think I've ever seen. My favorite character is a guy who has like a tinfoil like hat mask and he's wearing pajamas and he has a needle in his hand. But he carries this giant fucking axe and he's called Bloodhand Jan. And he's the most badass motherfucker I think I've ever played in the game. The character that they're kind of presenting as like the main pro tag, his name's Albert, which super generic name. Like Albert. Yeah, he was fun to play. Like he had a giant sword and a fucking AK-47 where that was his long range maneuver. You just jump up. You get a fucking quadruple jump in this game. I've never played a game with a quad jump. So I'm really curious what Nintendo does with the next Mario, because they probably are seeing this shit. They're probably like, hey, like we can't have somebody jumping higher than fucking Mario. They already tried that shit with Mega Man. We can't have our like own exclusive be doing this shit as well. So maybe Mario gets 5 jumps. But the fact that you get a fucking quad jump in this game, you quad jump and then you can just like shoot a motherfucker in the back like as you're jumping over them is the funniest fucking shit I think I've played all year round. So this game completely changed my mind about what I was thinking so far, because it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'm confused as fuck, but at the same time, that confusion is leading me to say I need questions answered. And the only way I'm going to get those questions answered is if I buy this fucking game. And for me, this is a game that is absolutely going to move the needle. It's going to sell consoles. There was like numbers that came out. They said this game got more signups and more people were playing it than the Elden Ring Night Rain beta when that went live. And that was on 3 fucking consoles. This is on a single console. So gameplay wise, of course, it's typical FromSoft. Like your character moves kind of like in this plane from left to right. You got to dodge, and I didn't really like notice a parry mechanic. I'm pretty sure there's one in there. You get a shield and you get either like a sword, an axe. There's this hat lady that kind of looks like Kung Lao. She has what are those rings called that you throw at people and they got like knives on the end of them, something like that. One of the characters in Soul Calibur uses that weapon, but she was pretty cool to play as. I didn't get to play as a senator that turns into a dinosaur, just because when I started playing as fucking Bloodhand Jan, I was like, well, this is my character. Like, this is the character I'm doing better at than most of the other things in this game, so I'm just going to stick with this guy. Oh, and there's this, you guys would like this one. His name is Zork. He is kind of in a mech suit. He's shaped like Patrick Star. That's his shape. And what his special is when you jump up, he will just ram into a motherfucker. Like, it's hilarious because you ram into somebody and you just see them fly across the screen in a very Smash Brothers type way. So he was a lot of fun to play as. that's one of those games where I'm like, damn, I'm kind of mad that I only got to play it for a weekend because we have no idea when this game is coming out. Allegedly, it's still coming out in 2026, but it could get pushed to 2027. But I kind of wish I was playing it right now, if I'm being honest. So I know I just threw a lot at y'all. What questions do you guys have about it?
I wanted to ask you how similar it is to Night Rain, because I had a ton of friends who were into that, but I don't think you tried that out, did you? So this is your first entrance into it.
I didn't get to play Night Rain. The only other From games that I played that aren't like Tenchu are, I played a couple of the Armored Core games on PS3, Sekiro, and Dark Souls. So it's I wouldn't know how to really compare it to Night Rain.
Yeah, I don't know if it's similar or not.
It is very Kirby Air Riders like, as far as the mode that we got to play. You collect items, you do a bunch of shit to level up, so that way you don't get completely bodied by the end of the rounds. So it does feel like when people say like, oh yeah, this is like Kirby fucking Air Riders, they're not lying about that. That is like real shit. As far as like other games that you could kind of like throw in the mix, it feels very much so like Monster Hunter almost, and fucking Kirby Air Riders, of course, Dark Souls, like all like thrown into a pot. Pokemon to an extent, because you get to summon a kin and it follows you like a fucking Pokemon, and you tell it where to go, what to do, and things like that. So they took a lot from a lot of IP and just kind of like mixed it in, and that was a damn good time.
If you had to pick one thing out of your entire experience playing it, what was like the number one most memorable, like, oh, this is Duskbloods, like this moment is the thing that makes the game?
I would honestly say, I think the thing that I had the most fun with was, in fact, going through the map, exploring, and basically just like running into like other people and like we would see these super bosses, we tag team these super bosses, and they would like, the super boss would just kick all of our asses, and I'm like, yeah, that's it right there. That's probably the most memorable thing for me, outside of the characters, of course. The characters, I feel like, really do make that game, and I feel like it's going to make a large portion of like why people want to play this, is because those guys are so unique, and they got the juice. Like, it's something special here.
All right, yeah. Carson, you got any questions?
No. I'm a sick freak whose favorite FromSoft game is fucking Kingsfield on PlayStation 1. And if you don't know what that is, go look up that crunchy shit. It's awesome. You won't be able to play it. Don't try. I'm not saying that as like an elitist bit. I mean, like, it's not good. And I say that because, like, I think the game has to be trash for me to be any good at it. Because I've never beat Elden Ring, and like Dark Souls is just a bit too much. I couldn't get into it. Everything that you just said sounds like it's not for me in the most respectful way possible. But I do think it sounds like it'd be one of those games that'd be sick as hell to watch someone play at like a high level. So next time you're streaming it, I'd like to watch you play it, because it sounds cool to watch from my perspective, but as a game, don't think it's going to be one I'm going to be picking up.
Yeah, I think for both of you, could I see elements of it that you guys would absolutely enjoy? Yeah, I think the Kirby Air Riders element, like, because it is very comparable to City Trials, is probably the number one thing where I feel like you guys can like understand the formula of it. But as far as its feel, its look, it's very vampire-y. One of the things that you do with your characters,
I fucking hope so. It's called Dustbloods.
Yeah, you suck their blood, and when you suck a character's blood, basically they're like now under a trance, and they're gonna do your bidding. So I think from that perspective, I'm like, oh, okay, like this is definitely like some vampire shit. I felt like I was playing like a Castlevania spinoff for a little bit because of how vampire themed it was, which is fucking cool because I love Castlevania. But then, you know, just to realize I'm doing FromSoft combat shit. The combat, I will say, is a lot faster compared to, obviously, Dark Souls. I haven't played anything since fucking Sekiro. It's faster than Sekiro, so that's a really good thing. That is something that I like really enjoyed about this one. It feels like they're going in the direction of Devil May Cry a little bit with how fast the combat can be with certain characters. Like Bloodhair Jan, like, is a fucking riot to play as. I was enjoying all of my time playing as that character. I have no complaints about him whatsoever. Some of the other characters, Sniper Layla, I didn't really grasp her playstyle a little bit because playing as a sniper in this style game just, I don't know, just wasn't clicking with me for whatever reason. But everything else, it was clicking. It was clicking hard. I was enjoying it. I was very confused throughout all of it. But I feel like those questions will definitely like get answered over time. And I'm looking forward to the day that they do.
Add anything to this, to be honest.
Yeah,
I have such little experience with Dark Souls. I understand where you're going with, though, and the idea of like a city trials kind of Dark Souls experience makes a shit ton of sense. But my brain keeps going like, is that what Night Rain is like? Like, how does this compare? Because those two games are like Dark Souls FromSoft multiplayer focus. And now I'm like, I feel like I got to go look into what a round of that game is. Is this more of the same? Or is it more like experimental and they're trying something new again? Like, I really can't tell.
Very much more experimental from what I've seen from a lot of people who are really into FromSoft games. Everybody's kind of like, this is completely different. It's not really like Night Rain. There's elements of it that are like Night Rain from my understanding, but there's still a lot that's going to be very different. Which, I guess Night Rain's more, honestly, like Peace Walker, apparently, which is like Monster Hunter.
Oh, okay. I see what's going on. All right, so I did a little research. I'm looking things up because people have asked literally the exact same question that I've asked on subreddits. And so we've got a post on From Software's subreddit themselves of people being like, what's the difference? Night Rain is more of like a hunt, like Boss Rush roguelite style game. It's 3 people. You just go against bosses in the little Elden Ring section of the open world. Dustbloods is a PvPvE type setting, so it's a lot more competitive in its nature, but it's also you versus the environment. So you can fight strangers. There's 8 people. I didn't know that. Did you fight anyone, JT? Like any other people out in the wild?
So in the wild, I was actively trying to not fight people because you don't gain virtue if you fight people.
Okay.
Only under certain conditions. So it didn't really make sense to fight anybody until you got to the last round. I did have people trying to actively like fuck me up as I'm going through the map. And I'm just like, no, fuck off. Like, leave me alone. Like, I would teleport to like a different part of the map so I could go get virtue because I want to make it to the last round. It really doesn't help you to do anything to another player until you get to that battle royale. But as far as encountering people, if I'm at like a super boss in the game, that's when I'm just like, yo, help me. Like, I'm pulling a Kevin Hart. I'm basically like, I need help. Help me. Come assist me with this boss. I'm getting my ass whooped. And people would jump in, and you'd see 4, 5, 6 people beating the fuck out of a titty frog, and it was amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Crazy fucking video game. Here we go, FromSoft. Sounds like it's going to make people really happy. I'm really impressed by the beta numbers, to be completely honest, for the signups. I didn't think it was going to be that popular, but FromSoft fans, dude, they're in. They're pretty big.
Yeah.
They're a huge group of people at this point.
Yeah, the FromSoft sickos are definitely like, they come out in droves. Like, if you mention that they got a new game on the horizon and Miyazaki's directing it, apparently those people are front and center. Can't be mad at them. because I'm the same way with games like Xenoblade. So I get it. But I'm with you. I'm like really like impressed with how like this popped off and how people reacted to it and how positive people seem to be about it. I think that was the biggest takeaway for me, is just seeing like the reception, because I think a lot of people were kind of like down on this one going into it, and now coming out of it, everybody's like, no, I'm like mad hype. Like, I want more. And I feel the same way. I want more. Mostly because I'm just fucking confused.
JT,
So-
it's at the bottom of the rabbit hole.
One question. It was kind of a big story on Friday that the first part of the network test didn't actually work. When did they come out and say that the next round was going to go live, and when did you actually get to start and give it a shot?
So I was at volleyball Friday night, and as I'm at volleyball, like our game ended, we all just hang out and kind of like shoot the shit, like while we're like chilling or waiting for like the next game to start. So I play a back-to-back Friday, and I look at my phone and I see a notification that said the Dustbloods second test is now live. And I'm like, oh, we got to get this game over with. Like, I got to go home. So it was like at that moment, like probably 8 Friday night, where I like saw that. And then our game ended. I kind of Irish goodbye'd my team a little bit. I got home and I like booted up the Dustbloods, and I was like, all right, well, here we go. And I played for like 2 hours that night, because it was like a late night test here in fucking Colorado. So it was like I played it and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. It runs you through the tutorial pretty well, but it's still kind of confusing if you have never really like dove into one of these games before. So I was like, all right, well, that's over. I'm ready for the next one. And it ran well. Like, it got no frame rate drops like throughout like my play session. It felt responsive. It felt good. Like, the internet wasn't like lagging by any means. So I think that early morning test, the one that people were like, well, it's not called the Dustbloods because why would we play this early in the morning? I think that was honestly like the wake up call, like, no, motherfuckers, you guys got probably 400,000 people trying to like sign into this game right now. So we're definitely putting this like through the ringer as far as like stressing out the server. So yeah, it was Friday night when I got to play the game. And it ran Friday night, Saturday, like mid morning, and then Sunday, like late Sunday as well. And yes, I did play all of those sessions like a crackhead.
JT is fully addicted.
Yeah. It was a good time. It was a damn good time.
Do you think, legitimately, do you think that this could be a game that moves systems?
Absolutely. One, because you have the FromSoft sickos that are already like playing elsewhere. They're seeing this pop off, and they're going to be like, well, I can't miss a Miyazaki game, no matter what console it's on or what I decide, about Nintendo whatsoever. Which, one thing to consider, that at the end of June, the Switch 2 had already sold 24 million units, which is crazy that it did that in about 13 months. But also, with Nintendo's holiday lineup, like Fire Emblem, Legend of Zelda, and now this game, I feel like, I don't know where those numbers are going to be, because the console does go up by $50 next week. But I can see this being a game that people are like, no, like I have to play that. Like, I want to play that. That's going to be kind of like my game for the next year. Because a lot of people aren't like us here, where we talk about a lot of games or even like have like a lot of games. A lot of people kind of get like 1 or 2 games sometimes, and that's it. This might be, though, that 1 and 2 games that they get. I can see this and Zelda being big games for people this holiday. I feel like people are going to pick both of those up, and that's going to be like what they roll with. And crazy thing, we still don't know what Zelda looks like. Oh, that's going to move consoles as well, especially with that special edition. But yeah, this will definitely be a game people talk about for a long time. And there's still 4 other characters they did not give us access to. So I don't even know what those classes are or what they could be. But I bet they're going to be cool. If they're as crazy and psychotic as Bloodhand Jan, who just decided one day I'm going to carry around a giant axe in my PJs, I'm here for it. That might be my Halloween costume this year, actually. And what other questions you guys got, or is that kind of answer a lot of what you guys were feeling?
Yeah, I think that kind of finally gives me an understanding of like what the fuck the Dustbloods actually is, because for a lot of it too, I've been like, I don't know what this game is. Like, I just don't know what you're gonna do here, and now that's actually pretty interesting. I wouldn't have expected FromSoft to go that route, but it actually makes a ton of sense, and that gameplay could be incredibly addicting on the right person. So yeah. Cool. Yeah.
I'm definitely the type of sicko that gets addicted to action games in general. Action RPGs, and then you just give me like puzzle mechanics and board game mechanics all thrown in the mix, where it's like, now I gotta go collect shit, I gotta try to like level up and then make it to the end. Hopefully I'm in. Sign me up. All right, let's talk a little bit about PlayStation. There's kind of a few things in this news story wrapped up into one. Marvel Tokon sold less than 3,000 units in Japan, which is the lowest numbers for a Arc System Works fighting game in that region, because we know that is the home region of Arc System Works, but also just kind of puts into perspective where people are at with PlayStation right now. I don't really know like what those numbers did for Marvel Tokon in America. We won't find that out until next month. Wouldn't be surprising if they're also low in America, because I'll be honest, I'm not seeing a ton of people talk about this game right now, which is kind of surprising because it looks so cool. But we know PlayStation has blackouts happening at the moment where people are like not logging in. I don't know if they're still gaming, but I know they're just not doing any of the services that you can do on PlayStation. And all this has to do with PlayStation's decision to end production of disc in 2028. We're starting to see morale just kind of around the industry about PlayStation in general sink a little bit, where people are just like, no, like I really don't need anything that they got going on for the time being or going forward. Are you guys surprised by this? Zach, we haven't really heard from you tonight, and I know you are a big physical collector, and that you've made a pledge to only buy your Switch 2 games physically. What are your thoughts and opinions about this one?
I missed that because I'm sorry, I'm reading through something. I was juggling stuff. So what was the question?
So we're talking a little bit about PlayStation ending physical media, also morale around PlayStation just being overall very low right now.
Yeah.
Just due to them getting rid of disc in 2028. Marvel Tokon is the lowest selling Arc System Works game, and that is a PlayStation console exclusive. It's also on PC, but not moving the needle for that one in Japan. Where are you at with PlayStation in general at the moment?
I'm bored. Yeah. I'm bored of PlayStation, to be completely honest. Just because, like, none of their stuff really appeals to me at this current moment in time, except for the Wolverine game. But that one is fully going to be exclusive to PlayStation. And this is coming off of the heels of them announcing that we might not ever do fucking PC ports ever again. So for me personally, like, knowing they're going into an all-digital future, I'm a little checked the fuck out. Like, I just don't really think about what they're up to. It makes sense, though, for that Marvel fighting game to kind of collapse under its own weight. It kind of sucks to hear because those devs probably work their asses off. A fighting game is an incredibly difficult kind of video game to make. They're all hard, but those ones are especially hard because the timings and the animation qualities need to be perfect. But it's also not surprising that it did, because the fighting space is incredibly niche and incredibly like homogenized amongst only a couple of big titles. Like, look at what happened to 2XKO pretty recently, that League of Legends fighting game. Like, that game was in development for forever, a total fan wish list of like a League of Legends kind of style game, and it just didn't hit like at all. And I feel pretty bad for those guys too, because that game like does look pretty good. Looks very mechanically impressive, but I'm not a fighting game guy, so I know it's not up my alley. I know it's not for me, and it just didn't click with that community because they're all so fucking addicted to Street Fighter, Tekken, Smash Bros, and what's the other really big one that are coming around, Mortal Kombat. So it's like they just can't get out of those games, even though they've been playing them for decades at this point. It's just so hard to break in. Even the Guilty Gear people out there are probably still kicking it on Guilty Gear, and they're just not willing to change like position. But yeah, when it comes to PlayStation stuff and the rest of it, the morale on PlayStation being at an all-time low makes sense, because like they just don't have anything that makes me go, I need to be a PlayStation fan to be here for this. It hasn't really felt like that at all for the entire PlayStation 5 generation. And now that they're just axing studios left and right for not delivering on live service bets and all this other junk, and now the digital future is officially here, and they're not willing to retract on that even a little bit. It's like, fuck, man, what's the point? Like, I know you're a big entertainment company, but there is still a little bit of competition in the world of your space, and you kind of have to sell me a little bit on something to make me want to show up. Right now, I don't see anything that they have that would make me go, oh yeah, it's kind of worth it though that they're breaking my fucking library into pieces because that game is so good that I'm distracted by all the bullshit. Because there are people out there that will get distracted by that kind of thing. So like, I'm not surprised that the morale is tanking, because there just isn't something to go take away all of the bad shit that's been happening.
Yeah, you brought up live service, and that's like something that I definitely agree with as well. Is they place a lot on these whack-ass live service bets. And we just, even over the weekend, we saw that whatever Horizon game that they got coming out, I can't remember the name of it. Hunter's Gathering.
I was really looking forward to that. Yeah, really? It kind of, well, I was looking forward to it pre the actual announcement of what it was. Like, I liked the idea because I love Monster Hunter titles, right? So I was like, okay, let's fucking see someone else show up and give this another go. But then it turns out that it's not what anybody actually asked for, and in an art style that just doesn't need to be, like, it takes all the specialness out of what Horizon's art style is, which is like these incredibly photorealistic, mechanically complex enemies, and you boil it down to another Fortnite cell shaded thing. It's like, all right, who are you appealing to right now? Like, that was just a weird fucking choice. So I hope that they try to rework it. I actually don't know how likely it would be to make that like dramatic of a shift over to their normal photorealism like art style, but yeah, that was a game I was incredibly interested in up until its announcement, and I was like, oh, everything about this doesn't appeal to me anymore. Like, it's just like a weird hero shooter mixed in with some aesthetics that just are beyond what I give a fuck about. So it's just strange. That was a weird move in general. So yeah, like, there's just, I can't think of anything that I'm like, yes, I need to know what this is. Like, maybe Intergalactic, only because I'm always curious of what Naughty Dog is up to. But even then, like, Intergalactic is I think it's supposed to be like a linear Devil May Cry like game, and less like a fucking open world space adventure, which I think Naughty Dog could make something really interesting with that idea. So I'm not really that curious. Like, I want to know what a melee combat system in their hands feels like that's fully dedicated to melee, because The Last of Us melee is incredibly brutal and very like animation sync timed heavy, versus the same thing with Uncharted, which is also just like, you start swinging and it pretty much plays a perfect animation for you and the enemy. So what would it feel like to get a little bit looser in terms of like what Dark Souls games are like, where everybody's so heavily timed on hits and hitboxes? I don't know. Like, Naughty Dog could do something really interesting here. So I'm curious about that from a gameplay perspective on like how they handle the mechanics of it. But yeah, there's not a whole lot else coming around on the Sony front that I look off into the future and I'm like, oh yeah, you guys stealing away the possibility of ownership is like totally worth a distraction, because there just isn't a thing that makes that impending doom like feel not as bad. It's just, yeah, it's just stuck in that spot, and I don't think they can get away from that at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just such... It's so crazy to me that this was the pivot after the PS3 and after the PS4, is that when they started the PS5 generation, they really said, hey, we got 12 live service games that we're going to throw into the ring of fire, and none of them came out.
Yeah.
Okay, not none of them. Helldivers came out.
Yeah.
Concord attempted to come out, and everything else, where the fuck is it?
Yeah, I understand why as a company you would make that bet, because even like as a consumer, I didn't really understand what live service was about to do to the industry as it was rolling through. I was just like, oh, new multiplayer game shows up. I didn't think that those things were going to live for a decade plus and have captured audiences in that way. And I don't think the executives at Sony saw that either. But you would think like 5 years later, according to like market trends at that point, you would have like tried to move some of the eggs out of that basket a lot sooner. But no, Jim Ryan, as we've seen, just kept doubling down hard. And finally, they lost so much cash that they had to like burn stuff. But it's just so strange to me still that you would bank everything in that direction and not like diversify your assets a little bit of like, hey, we're really good, like really fucking good at this third person single player action stuff. So much so that we're winning constant accolades for it. Maybe we should continue to do that alongside the risky things. And it's like, no. Everything went to risk, and I don't get it. I don't get how you make those kinds of choices. Like, it just has to be a disconnect from actual audience want and reception. Like, you just look at data all day, and you don't actually think about what consumers are really enjoying because you don't actually give a fuck about the medium. It's all a numbers thing for you. And so your only connection is some stupid numbers rather than, like, I played this, and I understand the appeal. Like, I just can't understand how you would make that kind of choice, especially in a media company, because, like, you think you would have a little bit underneath you of, like, audience expectations. So, like, just a little bit so you can make some changes when the winds start to move somewhere else. But no, dude, it's a captured world. We're just stuck in the bullshit here.
Yeah, I want Carson to chime in on this if he has any thoughts before I say my next piece.
I really don't. Covered it. You guys pretty much covered it.
Yeah. No, man. Zach said it all. You know, just...
Yeah, but I'm saying the thing that I'm not saying anything surprising. We are all thinking this shit for a long time. Yeah. I've heard everybody say the same thing like once or twice at this point.
Listen, I talk a shitload every week, so like sitting back in the cut for once, this is nice.
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of just like all of my thoughts about PlayStation. I've said numerous times. I don't think there's anything that they can do at this point to get those thoughts to continue to change. Much like you were saying, that not unless they come out and say, okay, hey, we fucked up, like we gotta lower the prices. You know, we're going to put a focus back on single-player games again, and you're going to get some of those games like Uncharted and Ratchet and Clank, which, I mean, they seem to be doing a Ratchet and Clank per generation. So there's times where they do dip into that bag a little bit, but you think with the successes that they get from these games, they will want to continue to dip into that bag instead of chasing this infinite money loop and just kind of like focusing on the things that work. we've seen this time and time again from other video game companies. When you focus on the things that work, you have success. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like Nintendo's not the fucking savior of anything because they do some weird shit all the fucking time, especially when it comes to suing people. But when it comes to how they handle their video games and what they do to make things work, they sure have had a lot of success over the last decade with the shit that people want and listening to their audiences and giving them the things that they want when it comes to those video games. You would think Xbox and PlayStation would look at that and go, huh, all right, maybe if we stop doing this infinite money loop and chasing these fucking trends, we could also sell 150 million consoles. But no, they just don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, it's just the cultural mentalities are just night and day difference between a company that wants to have some honor and to a certain degree lawful evil at times, but also lawful good, right? So like they just fucking go and be like, you want to make generation defining things, you need to foster a group of people and raise and take care of your team. You want to fucking protect your rights, you have to go to war and destroy the smallest fucking person over some bullshit that doesn't make any sense because it's all about strength and prevailing or showing of strength, even if it looks completely petty to all of the rest of us, which it kind of is. So, like, that's what it is. So like it's just these philosophies of these people and the cultures are just so different. Like American company chasing dollar, no matter what I do, gotta go get the next one. Meanwhile, another one's like art doesn't live in a vacuum. Like you have to fucking make some cool stuff or it doesn't work out. Like a company that's been around for like over 100 years and another company that started up like not that long ago in recent history. Like the founders of that company are still fucking here and have some influence on the world in weird ways. So it's just like, yeah, man, they just look at things so differently and it's so obvious like who's going to continue to get to do stuff. Maybe Xbox will finally have like gotten their shit together in a couple more years because I think after they just purchased 2/3 of the entire video game industry and then destroyed all of it, they've now realized we should just do the stuff we're good at. But that's a bet that can only be made, and we'll just see if it works out because the industry is fundamentally different and will be different in another 10 years. Yeah, dude, it's just a weird time to be into video games right now. Like we were supposed to go into, like, I didn't realize we were in a golden age. No, I don't think anybody really does when you're in a golden age. But the dark times were either around or they're still happening. But there's going to be like a whole new wave of something in a little while here. I just don't know what the fuck that's going to look like. And Nintendo will still be kicking it because they just completely keep reinventing the wheel on whatever the fuck comes next. I actually have a total weird question to ask you guys about, but I don't know if you have another topic because there's a leak that I saw the other day and I don't know if it's fucking real or not. I want your guys
real quick.
Yeah,
I got
Carson hit it with it.
One thing to say.
Go for it.
There was a point in time that Sony was on top, and people started calling them arrogant Sony because they would do and say very arrogant and shitty things. Right now, Sony is on top, and they sure are back to arrogant Sony. And I just wonder when it's going to be that they get humbled again. Because it's going to happen. Just don't know when.
I think we're in the beginning of a humbling, to be honest. This feels like the beginning
It's not going to happen until after Grand Theft Auto 6, and it's not going to be anytime soon.
Yeah.
I would just be curious to see, like, because they're already talking about releasing a fucking PlayStation 6, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it won't sell, but I'm curious to just see how that could... we'll see. That's the thing. We'll see. We'll see. I want to believe it wouldn't, but I know from experience people are not good with their money.
Facts.
Hi.
That's right.
My name is Zach. I buy
I'm
really
fucking
dumb shit.
good with my fucking
same.
money.
Dude, I'm a fucking single dude, like, living in a studio apartment. That tells you everything you need to know about where a lot of my fucking money goes. So, I'm with you, Carson, on that one.
I'm frugal as fuck, so, like, I'm good, but I know a lot of people that are not frugal and maybe should be. I'm not talking about, anybody that y'all know.
Yeah, obviously, over here we ballin', so, that's why I like the things that I have. But I completely do agree with that statement where you say, we'll see. I do feel like there is a ceiling to consumer spending when it comes to a console. Especially when you look at a box and go, that's $1,000, if not more. I'm completely out. It wasn't the original price of the PlayStation 5 that had me out. It was just the software lineup because I wasn't sure what I was going to get. So that's why I was out from kind of the jump on PS5. Sure, I like Spider-Man. Sure, I like Ratchet and Clank. Not enough to fucking only play those two games. And obviously, like, there's a bunch of third-party shit, but when PlayStation 5 came out, I was still playing a lot of games on Switch that I hadn't completed. And it's going to be the same thing when the PS6 comes out. And now you're telling me that these consoles continue to go up in price? The ceiling for me is and always will be $600. And even I feel like a fucking like psychopath saying that my ceiling is $600 when it should be $500, if not $400. But I paid
fucking $250 for me, babe.
I got a couple of Chinese handhelds for you, my guy. But yeah, it's just when the PS6 comes out, I do feel like everything for Sony does happen in threes. The PlayStation 3 was a humbling moment for them. They turned it around really quickly. I won't say really quickly because the PS3 generation took a long time. But they did turn it around with the PS4. Where after that E3, everybody's like, I'm getting a PS4, fuck Xbox, and everything that they got going on. And everybody went out and got PS4s. The PS5 came out because it was the default system. Everybody was playing their ball and gun games on PlayStation already. Fortnite started to pop off on PlayStation 4. That's when a lot of like this live service kick really like took off. It was right before the PS5 and the Xbox Series came out. So a lot of people already knew in their mind, I just want my shit to transfer over easily. I'm already playing the games that I got on PlayStation 5. I see that my catalog carries over. I'm good with that. It's going to be a lot harder to get those people to upgrade to a PS6, I feel like, just because they got to worry about so much other things in the market right now. Groceries. Not only grocery prices, but do my blueberries have fucking E. coli and salmonella in them? Does my fucking like zucchini have somebody's butt juice on it or whatever? That's a big worry. Gas prices. Gas is $5 again, which my ass is walking everywhere at this point. Like $5 for gas, that is way too much. There's just so much other things I feel like people are worrying about where they're just like, I'll just keep playing the games that I got. I'll just keep playing the consoles that I got. Or I'll just go get a retro console. Or I'll just do something else. Where if PlayStation and Xbox come out with a box that is over $1,000, oh man, we will see. I do believe it'll like have like a good start, but everything after that, because you're going to get those enthusiasts that have to have it day one. They're going to go out and get it day one. Everybody else, though, they're going to look at that and they're going to have some shifty eyes.
Yeah, I just don't know what the fuck you do to, like, make me interested in a PlayStation 6. Like, even for Sony fans, I actually don't know what do you put in front of them that will make them go, oh yeah, that's really worth the upgrade. It was like, I like the PlayStation 4 controller, It was a great upgrade from the PlayStation 3. It felt like we were finally moving beyond what that thing was. I love the PlayStation 5 controller, but I don't love the PlayStation 5 controller so much that I'm like, I have to have a PlayStation 5 to go with it. I use that controller on my fucking PC. So, like, I don't see how you upgrade that further to make me go, this is worth the console price. Like, even for them, like, gaming has gotten so homogenized that, like, I can't think of a feature that is so important to the evolution of gaming that the PlayStation 6 will have that outdoes everything currently sitting on someone's PlayStation 5 Pro right now. Like, I just don't see it. Or a title or something. Like, I just don't see it going anywhere. And maybe they have an ace up their sleeve. Maybe there's something really fucking huge coming around the corner that I'm just not aware of. But right now, it just doesn't look like Sony's got the thing.
Yeah, I don't know what that ace could be, because I'm at the point now where I was always like, if they announced a new Uncharted, I would go buy a PS5. And with PlayStation 5s being $700 fucking dollars, if they announce a new Uncharted, I'm calling Justice and I'm like, yo, can I borrow your PS5 for a weekend so I can play Uncharted?
Yeah, phone a friend.
That's about it. Yep. Like, I will rent that bitch for a couple of days. And that's about it.
Man, if you think about it too, there's really a lot of people that are still playing on their PlayStation 4s.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a ton.
And like,
of
we're
people.
already talking about a PlayStation 6. Like, what are we doing?
That's a great question. One that I ask myself a lot. What are we doing? Because right now, who knows? I honestly do think that the PlayStation 6 gets delayed into 2028. I don't think it comes out in 2027, like what people were saying originally. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel like they like. It doesn't even feel like Sony really like knows the direction of what they need to do right now. Like, I feel like a lot of the video game industry, when it comes from Sony and Microsoft at this point, they're kind of just flying by the seat of their pants, whatever the fuck that means, and they don't even really know. So, only time will tell. Let's move into our final segment of the evening. It is time for Chop It or Drop It. Gamescom goes down tomorrow, opening night live. Do we chop it or drop it?
I got one thing to go on about that. I got one thing.
All right, let's chop it.
Fucking Witcher 3 expansion's getting shown off tomorrow, baby. Can you fucking believe that game is getting an expansion? Oh my god. I'm real pumped for Gamescom. That is the biggest fucking thing on the list for me. I don't think they're going to announce anything that's going to blow a Witcher 3 expansion out of the water. Yeah, I'm losing my shit a little bit. Tomorrow's the day. I don't expect anything huge. Like, I just kind of expect more of The Witcher 3, but, like, that's literally all I want. Yeah. So, like, if you just show me The Witcher 3, same mechanics, same level of CD Projekt Red quality, maybe expand on some systems a little bit, add some more endgame content for me there, a new location, a new storyline, more side quests, like, baby, sign me up. Like, I'm ready. I feel kind of bad in a way because The Witcher 3's last expansion, Blood and Wine, wrapped up the story for Geralt so well that I don't really want them to bring him out of retirement. But at the exact same time, the proposition of giving me an expansion to one of my favorite fucking games ever 10 years later, it's kind of it's hard to say no to that. So I'm willing to let them cook because they're good writers in that studio, and I feel like they will come up with a good excuse to get Geralt out of the fucking rocking chair and back onto the streets. But at the same time, it does hit me a little weird because the ending of like The Witcher 3 wraps up so well. There is like such a good nod to everyone of like, hey guys, the adventure's finally over. Thanks for riding with us for so long. Like, it feels really, really well done. That it's going to be so fucking strange to like pick him up again. But at the same time, I can't help but be a little bit excited about that.
So I thought the pro tag of this upcoming DLC was going to be, what's her name? The girl that has Ciri.
Yeah, it could be Ciri. We don't really know. It's been kind of quiet the entire time. There might be official words on it, but I haven't heard shit about if it's going to be Ciri or not. And so I've just been under the assumption that they would continue to get Geralt. If anything, it would make sense to kind of like back and forth the two of them together. But I don't know. I wouldn't be expecting it to be a 100% like Ciri-oriented thing until The Witcher 4. It makes me curious now, though. I feel like I got to look it up in real time to figure out, is that the case? Because it would be pretty crazy for it to be that way.
Here's one thing that I do know that is going to go down. We should get a new trailer for Mega Man Dual Override tomorrow. I think that trailer probably comes with a release date. And I don't know if this is going to go down. I'm calling it a prediction. Hopefully I'm right. Devil May Cry 6. It's finally time.
That'd be a crazy one. It'd be time to do it.
Yeah. I feel like it's the right moment. We just got DMC5 like ported to Switch. And you know, you keep that momentum rolling. Go ahead and announce the DMC6. We don't know shit else about Capcom in 2027 other than Mega Man and Resident Evil Veronica. I'm pretty sure they're going to have another stellar year coming next year. And
all right, to segue backwards really quick, Geralt is the main protagonist of the new Songs of the Past expansion. So yeah, they're picking him back up again. No word on Ciri's playability to the whole thing. She is confirmed for The Witcher 4. She is the only character you'll be playing as in The Witcher 4 as far as anybody knows. But for this expansion, yeah, Geralt's going back in the saddle. We're taking him out of retirement and we're making him do his job one more time.
All right. I will be looking forward to that. This also kind of relates to Gamescom as well. Ori 3 might get announced tomorrow or in the future. Chop it or drop it.
Interesting. I don't have a whole lot to say on that one. I haven't played enough of the Ori games.
You should definitely go play the Ori games, my friend. Those are very, very good Metroidvanias.
Yeah, I know they're totally up my genre and my alley. I just haven't taken the time to dive all the way through. I played a little bit of the first one, had a decent enough time. I actually played a lot more of the second one because the combat gets way better, but I did not play too many video games. It's hard to fucking keep my attention on one thing.
That's fair. Carson, did you ever play the Ori games?
Nope.
Damn, son. Y'all are missing out. I feel like the Ori games are, honestly, it's that game that you got that's just sitting there in the backlog. You might not think about it too often, but you're like, it sounds really good right now.
The chips beat the living shit out of you because the platforming challenges are so fucking intense. I know that they get crazy in this first game. Like, they get really hard.
The end of the second game. But those games are just so charming and so compelling that once you honestly sink a little bit of time into them, maybe about 2.5, 3 hours, you won't want to put it. And then the last chop it or drop it segment is going to be Pokemon is saying that they came out with Pokemon Champions because they want to continue to experiment with the battle system in the mainline games moving forward. So this means that we're probably just going to see different takes on the battle system over the next couple of Pokemon games. We already saw a little bit of that with the Legends games. Legends EA had a real-time battle system. Champions is that game that does have that traditional turn-based style. What this means for Pokemon Winds and Waves, who knows? But do we think we're going to see a new battle system in those games? Chop it or drop it.
I don't think we're going to see a new battle system. I feel like it's got to be a continuation of the other stuff. Because I feel like Winds and Waves is going to be this really big kind of like return moment for Pokemon. Like, there's going to be a lot of people like, I haven't played a Pokemon game in fucking 10 years. This could be really cool.
Yeah,
I feel like it could be that. And I think that they recognize that idea. And so if they're going to push the battle system, they'll do something like X, like evolutions again. They won't or mega evolutions. They won't like fucking really change it up that much. I think they'll want to keep people like in somewhat familiar territory.
Yeah, I feel like this battle system might just be that traditional style with maybe a dash of like what we got in the Legends games, like where you can freely move around and things like that. That's probably about it. And that does it for Chop It or Drop It. Carson, tell the good folks at home where they can find you.
You can find me here most Monday nights, and you can also find me at youtube.com/expansion pack for Brett's friend Carson. We are on a hiatus again, but there's 70 some odd episodes of Brett's friend Carson at youtube.com/expansion pack for you to check out right now.
Hell yeah, brother. Zach, tell the good folks at home where they can find you.
You can catch me here every Monday night. You can also check me out at ZachFisher9 on the old YouTubes. I post somewhat regularly. I've been on like kind of a weird schedule this past couple of days and weeks, so I'm doing my best to like fucking catch up a little bit, but I've got 2 videos coming out this week that you will be able to find. So we'll be posting some stuff. There's also a lot of really exciting things that are coming out later this year that I'm really pumped for in terms of the gaming space, and some surprise hits that I didn't actually think I was going to cover. One of them being probably the most intense video game I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. So we'll be talking about that pretty shortly. So yeah, tune in and I'll have my good, huge, like ultra wide footage for you, and you can check out all that nonsense there.
Hell yeah, brother. Looking forward to all the content that you throw out. I also got some content coming out this week's. Wow. All right. Well, that's how you know it's time for me to go to bed. Stay tuned for all the updates. I should have a fun video about a game that I don't really dive into that much coming out pretty soon, or dive into at all, which is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, because there's a beta for the Switch. And I got some thoughts. So I wanted to put that into perspective. But until then, folks, stay tuned until we dive into Monday Night Mayhem next week. Thank you guys for being here. Remember to like, subscribe, do all that YouTube bullshit that we tell you to do. Tell somebody you love them, of course. Make sure you do that. Eat your vegetables except the ones that will give you diarrhea. Stay safe. Tip your DoorDash drivers and your strippers. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.